Today I'm going to be talking about an area where most people are holding themselves back. Now this area is called the autopilot zone. Now this is an area where you're in the rat race, you're constantly chasing your tail. Say the midweek looks a little something like this. You're doing your 9 to 5, maybe dropping the kids off to school, picking them up, or you're socializing, you're training in between that, you're really rushing, and then the weekend comes and you're catching up with family, friends, you're doing all this stuff. And before you know it, the week's done and you're like, where did that go? Where did all my time go? And you realize you haven't done the things that you said you were going to. Things like your health, your nutrition, your training has all been pushed to the side, down the bottom of the priority list. Now, if this sounds a bit familiar, the number one thing you need to learn how to do is become more present. Now, this might sound a little bit weird or a little bit silly to some of you, but just hear me out on this one. It is going to benefit all areas of your life. When you're in this frame of mind, when you're stressed and you're rushing, it is your subconscious mind making the decisions. You're not consciously making a lot of decisions because without even realizing it, you're in this sort of flight heightened mode where you're stressed out and you're rushing and you really are just trying to beat the clock. The issue with not making conscious decisions is that your subconscious brain is going to take over. You might have read some of my posts in the past, but the subconscious brain is the comfy brain. Now, this is attracted to whatever is familiar and regular for you. So even if you're trying to break out of a bad habit, let's say smoking, for example, if you're not making conscious decisions, your subconscious brain is going to be much more likely to make that decision for you. And your subconscious decision takes the thinking out of it. So whatever is in your regular routine, your subconscious mind is going to pick that thing. This can be things like binge eating, or say if you're trying to cut back on the sugar a little bit, you're just going to go straight for the sugar, or crack open a bottle of red wine after work, whatever it might be. Your subconscious mind is going to pick that thing that you are trying to avoid if you're not consciously making that effort and being aware of what you're doing from day to day, hour to hour. Becoming more present is also just going to help you improve your relationships with people, improve your work ethic, things like that. You're going to learn how to become more present and just really dial in and focus on what you're doing, because as you know, when you're in this rush state, when you're at the gym, not really at the gym, you're thinking about what you've got to do for the rest of the day. When you're eating, you're sort of eating on the go at your desk, trying to shovel down food as quickly as you can. You're not even enjoying the food. When you're spending time with your family, you're thinking about what you have to do tomorrow. Now, you're probably wondering, what the fuck does this have to do with me looking sexy for summer? Now, I'm going to get to that in just a sec. Now, the first thing I do with my clients in a consultation is chat about the nutrition. Now, I can always get you guys to improve your training, improve your technique, and show up to the gym. But when it comes to your nutrition, this tends to be the area where people sort of push it to the side and don't really stress about it, because like, oh, I'm showing up to the gym, that should be enough. But nutrition is going to be the driver of your results. So it is super important you understand what you're doing and you are conscious about what you're eating. Now, I always ask my clients, what does their nutrition look like right now? And I'd say 4 out of 5 people say, oh yeah, my nutrition's pretty good. Now, these are people sometimes that have the goal of losing 20 to 30 kilos, but they're still saying their nutrition is pretty good. So how can this be? Now, this comes down to what I call unconscious calories. Because most people aren't eating with the intention of gaining weight, or they're not eating food thinking that it's unhealthy. Generally, most people are actually trying to lose weight. By the time they come to me, they've probably tried to lose weight by themselves for years and years, and it's a breaking point and the tipping point when they do come to me. So I know for most people that I chat to, they're not actually trying to gain weight. Obviously, they're really trying their hardest to get healthy and get in shape, but the confusion around the nutrition and the unconscious eating is what is holding them back. Usually the next question I'll ask is, what does their eating look like day to day? Usually I'll get something back like, oh, pretty good, I'll eat a salad for lunch, I only eat 2 meals a day, I really don't know why I'm gaining weight, just nothing seems to be working. I'll say, cool, do you have any snacks throughout the day? They're like, oh yeah, only healthy stuff though. Like I might have a few nuts here and there, might have a smoothie or one of the kids' crackers, carrots and hummus, things like that. Any drinks or anything like that? Oh yeah, I might have a can of Coke or a couple glasses of wine each night. Then I'll ask about dessert and they might say, oh yeah, I don't really have dessert. I might only have a couple squares of chocolate, but that's it. Then you go into condiments, so sauces, spreads, things like that. And then without even realizing, we have an extra 700 to 800 untracked calories as a ballpark figure. Now, these are all unconscious calories. You're not aware of them. You think you're eating pretty healthy, but what you don't realize is all these small things add up. So What do we do to fix this? You might not actually realize this, but you trying to be healthy and then having all these unconscious calories, you know, you're starving yourself throughout the day, you're eating a salad you really don't want to eat, but then you're snacking here and there. You'd be better off cutting out all those little unconscious calories and having an extra 2, maybe even 3 meals, and keeping yourself full throughout the day and actually eating what you enjoy. The number one thing we need to do is get organized. Now, organization is going to be key. Now, I know a lot of you guys get a little bit upset with this one, saying you're too busy, you don't have time, but this is your number one priority. You do need to make time whether you like it or not. If you don't make time for it now, down the track, you're going to be making time for doctor's appointments, specialist appointments, and things you don't want to do. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather wake up a little bit earlier, get to the gym in the morning and save myself hours of time, thousands of dollars, and add on years to my life. I understand you're rushing for work and you've got to get home, cook dinner for your partner, look after your kids, go do stuff on the weekend. I understand, I get it, but this needs to be your number one priority. I'm not trying to attack you by any means. I'm just getting you to make this mindset shift that your health is your number one priority, because once you lose your health and you start getting illnesses, chronic pain, fatigue, depression, anxiety, it is very hard to break out of it. So you've got to start looking at your exercise, at your nutrition as a preventative to future health problems, not just a small goal of just wanting to lose a couple kilos, because it's going to literally add on years to your life and make your quality of life much better. In saying that, how do we get organized? You need to pre-plan everything. Your meals, your groceries, your sleep, your training, your nutrition, your work, everything needs to be pre-planned, because if you don't have a plan and you're leaving it up to your future self to decide when you're stressed out, rushed, anxious, you are going to make the wrong decision. It's just as simple as that. Never trust your future self to make the right decision. That is something that I've taught myself time and time again. This is part of your life now. You need to make it a priority and you need to schedule it in your diary, just like anything else, like any work meeting, any appointment, or anything like that you have. You need to pre-plan it in and keep yourself accountable to completing what you say you will. Purpose is to manage your time better. Once you are organized, once you're getting your training out the way, your meals are prepped, your groceries are done, all of a sudden you're going to have more time to breathe and be present. If you're struggling to find time in the day, you just need to wake up earlier. It's simple as that. I hate to break it to you. I don't mean to be the one of bad news, but you have hired me as your coach to build these healthy habits, help you build these healthy habits. Now, you just need to wake up earlier. I've coached single mums with 2 kids at home working a full-time job and extra casual work as well, and they still manage to get it done. They might need to wake up at 3 a.m. I train a few people at 3:30 in the morning and they get it done early. They do a 12, 13-hour day. You do have the time, you just need to prioritize it. If you cut out all the little Netflix episodes at night, the scrolling, go to bed a little bit earlier, get your 7 hours, wake up at 3:30, 4 a.m. if you need to. But you need to get this done, because if you don't, down the track, you are going to regret it, look back and wish that you worked on your health, I promise you. So make sure you're not that person looking back in 10, 20 years time going, oh, I wish I looked like this, I wish I felt like this. You have the power to do it yourself right now. So if you're not waking up early, you're not getting it done, you need to start building those habits. Time management is going to be the number one thing to de-stress yourself. And why is de-stressing yourself so important? Because like I said earlier, once you are stressed out, you're rushing, your subconscious brain is going to take over, and that's what we want to avoid. You want to make sure you're conscious with everything you're doing. Every mouthful that you take of food, every sip you have of a drink, every choice you make is going to be a conscious decision. For the conscious and mindful eating side of things, this is all going to come down to planning as well. You need to pre-plan your meals, especially for the week. Just like you never trust your future self, never trust your future hungry self to make the right decision, because I know when I'm hungry or hangry, I'm eating whatever is in front of me. I don't care. So let's say you've done your groceries, you've done your shopping, but it's in the fridge, it's not prepped. And you say, oh, you know, tomorrow I'm working from home, I'll cook it at home then. But then your day gets busy, you have some lollies or you have Uber Eats right there, and you can keep working instead of cooking. You're always going to take that option. So how we offset that is front load your week. So Sunday, meal prep your day. Even if you do it for 3 days in advance, it's there, it's ready to go. You need to make the healthy option easier than the unhealthy option. If the unhealthy option is easier than the healthy option, you're always going to go for that. So you need to switch that. Make the healthy thing easier than the unhealthy thing, so you always pick that thing from day to day, week to week. On that as well, learn to enjoy when you are treating yourself. When you go out for date night with your partner, learn to enjoy that meal. Learn to enjoy dessert when you have dessert, but don't just do the wasteful, unconscious eating where you're eating a couple squares here, you're not even thinking about it, you're just eating it because it's there. That's just a waste of calories and you're just selling yourself short. I want you guys to enjoy your life. I want you guys guys to enjoy your food, but make sure you are actually conscious when you're eating it. So biggest takeaway for you guys today, you want to make sure you are organized. Everything's planned and accounted for, just like your work week, just like your schedule. You want to add this in so it becomes part of your life. Now, also becoming more conscious of when you're eating, when you're drinking, why you're thinking the way you're thinking, why are you feeling the way you're feeling. Everything happens for a reason. There is a little root cause behind everything. And then the last thing I want you guys to remember is try cut out the snacking and just have an extra meal. I'd rather you guys have 3-4 meals instead of 1 or 2, and then just cut out the snacking. You're gonna be happier, you're gonna feel fuller, and you're gonna be more conscious of when you're eating. Last little takeaway, stop eating at your desk. Go sit out in the sun, enjoy your food outside, and just be present in that moment. Take 10 minutes out of your day just to eat. Become aware, become conscious of what you're doing every single day. Have a great week, guys. Thank you very much.